Welsh. How are you, Sean? And guess what? Our topic today is close to home. We talked about financials and we also talked about healthcare. We're really going to these kind of transition things that when you're in the military, you don't have to worry about as much. But once you transition, things do change. And today we're going to talk about taxes. Your taxes kind of change after you leave the military. Isn't that true?
Oh, you're gonna make me cry on live TV there, Neil. Thanks for having me again. Yeah, so the taxes is a real deal, especially if you retire, because then you got that retirement income coming in, and if you go get another job, you got to account for that. Your retirement plus your new salary, and then if your spouse is working, so you got to make sure that your exemptions are all correct. And I'm one of those that wound up in the same boat that several others that I talked to. We miscalculated a few things, and Uncle Sam came with their hand out.
Unbelievable. Wow. And that's interesting. And why is it different with the military when you're in the military compared to when you're a civilian when it comes to
Well,
taxes?
the biggest difference is there's potential, depending on what kind of job you do and what your pay is, that you move up a tax bracket. And so that can be a big change depending on what you're doing. And I know several people who have fallen into that. And so it's just a matter of figuring it out and making changes and going back and forth until you find that right balance to where everything evens out again. And to me, it was kind of like moving in the military. Every time I moved, it would take, I always felt like it took 90 days, maybe up to 6 months, but usually about 90 days to sort of balance things back out bill wise and get everything the way it should be after you're done moving. So with me, the tax thing is kind of look at it that way. There's just, there's some adjustments we got to make and balance it back out till we get back to normal.
Interesting. And it's where how you file all the different things. So you do get any tax breaks in the being in the military versus not being a civilian?
There's there's not really any specific tax breaks. There are some things like when you move, there might be some moving expenses that the military doesn't cover that you can then claim if you're itemizing. But for the most part in the military, a lot of the stuff we do is covered. So if you go somewhere, you're getting per diem and meals and lodging and things like that covered and paid for normally. When you move, your move is, can be paid for, so that all these different things that come into it that you might be able to itemize at a regular job, you're not going to be able to because it was already covered.
Wow. It's quite interesting what you're going through in that process and what it is. Do you think that they kind of keep you have the right resources also for taxes when you're in the on a military base or different things, or is it just already taken out for you? You don't have to worry.
Well, I think over time anyway, you kind of figure it out. But if you're a one income house, just from the military or even a two income family with your spouse, the taxes, if you're doing all your normal exemptions and everything, it's all gonna be pretty close anyway, I believe. I never really had a whole lot of problems in that sense. It was just that big change getting out and having another job and retirement and all that, and just we didn't cross every T that we like we should have.
Do you get taxed on your retirement fund as well?
So the retirement is, but VA well, I believe that's actually state dependent. I think I'm not 100% sure on that one, but that there can be tax on the retirement, but the like VA disability is not taxed.
So
Yeah.
your retirement fund, whatever it is, it's not disability, but the retirement from the military is taxed. I didn't know that.
Hmm. Yep, absolutely.
So
At least it is for
it's not
me.
like an annuity, right? I
No,
thought certain pensions for teachers are like an annuity. That's not what the military is, not an annuity. Your retirement.
not as far as I know. That or they pulled a fast one on me and I paid taxes on something I wasn't supposed
Hey,
to.
I talked to one of your good people that I helped say, hey, you got to call somebody, and that really helped them because a lot of times our taxes, and this is the thing, people listening on here, plug in whatever your tax accountant has done before you pay. Put it in AI to see if every I was dotted and every T was crossed, because ultimately we are ending up paying for taxes when there are other tax rebates or opportunities, and our CPA might not be able to always identify that fact.
Yeah, it's 100% true. I've been hard-headed and tried to do it myself for many years, and I think I'm finally at that stage in my life where I need to let someone else do it.
Or
And
no, no, you let AI do it. Trust me,
oh,
I'll show you how
I don't
to.
know about that yet.
Really? Oh, well, I have to show you something, Sean.
All right, all right,
Your CFO of that SOS can be AI.
okay, all right. Let's do
So
it.
that's the amazing thing. There's certain amazing things that we can check out, Sean. Last point, I guess, is basically when you transition, make sure you find a good accountant and make sure that just because you've changed, you're almost getting double. You're getting retirement and a job if you landed that job the next year out, it sounds like.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you do if you're on that typical military retirement, the 20-year retirement, you got to take that into account with your new job. And it's not just about making what you used to make. If you go over that threshold, you're going to be in that next tax bracket, and that's going to hit you.
All right. You're listening and watching that SOSpodcast.com.